Okay, Viola. So this is the Ashokan Farewell. This is measure 1 until 31. And I'm just going to play phrase by phrase, kind of talk about some of the concepts that we need to be aware of in this piece. First of all, the tempo is 72 beats per minute. And when you record this, you'll be having a click track in your ear so that you can make sure that you're hearing it and keeping right in time with everyone else. The key is D major, which means we have F sharp and C sharp. And the tricky thing about this viola part is you have a lot of the F sharp on the C string and C sharp on the G string. What I recommend doing is bringing that arm around. So look at your elbow. Make sure that when you check through your C bout here, you can see your arm. And that will help with the getting a high 3 extended enough. If your arm is back, it's really tricky to reach those notes. We want nice big full viola tone throughout this. The first thing that you play is the second time through. It says second time only. So the first time is just the seniors on their solo. Do pay attention to those bowings that are written in. And luckily it has those little arrows to help you with those F sharp notes too. Okay, this is measure 1 until 9. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so violas, you have the harmony notes in this, which means your notes have to be super duper in tune, and you have these very steady rhythms, but you can really lean in when you have the quarter notes to help you get a little bit more melodic in your line. That first interval, A to D, just 1 to 1 on the G to C string, but the second interval getting up to the F sharp's a little bit tricky. So let's try that together. Playing D to F sharp. So easy to not quite hit it. That was just like a couple millimeters, maybe 1 millimeter too low. So how do I know it's in tune? Well, you can put your fourth finger next to it and check it with that G string. The reason the F sharp needs to be really in tune is because it's part of the one chord, D, F sharp, and A. But that F sharp also tends to pull up to G, and G tends to pull to F sharp. That half step helps define the key and make it sound like it's in D major. The other place where that half step happens is C sharp to D. So be aware of that. That's going to help it happen in the next phrase. Here's 9 until 17. 1, 2, 3. So 15 and 16 are really tricky. Not because they're fast and they've got weird notes, but because they've got that high C sharp and then fourth finger D. So that C sharp is part of the A chord, which sounds resolved when it gets to the D chord. And so if you don't quite have that C sharp high enough, it's not going to have that pull like I talked about on the C string, F sharp to G. The other pull is C sharp to D. So make sure that C sharp's really high. That is going to require some tuning for sure. Let's practice that just one time. Here's 15, starting on that high 3 C sharp. Remember to bring that arm around. I see my arm through that C bout. And I'm kind of centered around my third finger Nice high 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, moving on. Here's measure 17. And looking from 17 to 25, we do have another C sharp. Actually, we have two C sharps, so we're going to have to be thinking about that as we play as well. Here's 17 to 25. 1, 2, 3. So one other thing that I'm really practicing in this piece is very smooth connected legato bowings. And the way I do that is just very steady. I'm not doing suddenly speeding up at any point. I really try to make sure it's really even. On the quarter notes I am pushing, not the tempo, but I'm just emphasizing them. So here's measures 19 for you. Because it just adds a little bit more interest than if I just stayed the same dynamic. Moving on, here's 25 all the way till 31. 1, 2, 3. Second ending. So we have so much of that F sharp. When I play that, I'm not always keeping one down on the D string. I do talk about having one down all the time as an anchor finger, but in the C string, it's hard to do it if you have a big viola or small hands. So you've got to lift that first finger up, and that's going to help get your hand around and might help with vibrato too. You do have to make sure that if you have an A, like you do in this passage, that you are ready to play that A, that first finger goes down back to that note before it happens. Let's look at 27, 28. I want to play second finger, fourth finger, third finger. I could play 2, open, open, 3, but that's a lot of string crossings, and also I want to use fourth finger to get F sharp in tune. So this is measure 27 on the B, going 2 to fourth finger. Again, I don't always need to have first finger on the string. In this instance, I'm going to try to have first finger lifted so I can reach that F sharp a little bit more easily. 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's the viola part from measure 1 until 31. You want to remember to have that high 3 really in tune, bring that arm around. Make sure you're using fourth finger. That will also help get it in tune. And try to make melodies out of your quarter notes. Thanks, folks.